Hello folks, Reverend Crystal Cox here of Bringing Back Goddess Church and All Denominational Church. And I'm going to read to you today out of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff in Love. I have been, influenced a bit by the book Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. My mother really likes that book, and of course there are many separate different books that kind of feed off of that main one. I've never really read much of this one. It's Don't Sweat the Small Stuff in Love, Simple Ways to Nurture and Strengthen Your Relationships while Avoiding the Habits that Break Down Your Loving Connection. Author Richard Carlson and Christine Carlson. Again, this is the same authors of the regular book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and so check that out too. Oh, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. All right, this one's number 21. It says, remember that your partner can't read your mind. It seems to us that one of the worst mistakes many of us make in our relationships is that, without even knowing it, we assume at times that our partner can read our mind. Or, if we don't assume they can do so, we very often expect them to do so. I was talking to a friend when he started to complain of his wife's inability to stay organized. He seemed tormented by the issue, and in fact, he had brought this subject to my attention on several previous occasions. Finally, I asked him, does Carol know how much this bugs you? It turned out that she had no idea that it concerned him in the least. There are several good reasons why it's important to recognize the problem and to nip it in the bud. First and most obviously, it creates a great deal of grief and inner turmoil for yourself. You carry around a ton of frustration that has little or anything to do with you. You're mad, you're bothered, you're irritated about something, and you're the only one who knows about it. That is self-induced stress. I must say, folks, this is a really, really big deal, because I myself often do this, where my version of what my partner's thinking becomes a reality. And it causes me great stress and anguish, and I feel attacked somehow. I feel I feel a lot of emotions that come from what I am assuming that my partner is feeling or thinking, or the reasons that my partner acted a certain way was because of this and this and this, and basically it's kind of abusing myself, really. So I'm attacking myself in my own mind, thinking that my partner's thinking bad of me or doing something because of something that I did, or because they have some issue with me, and I bring it inside of myself, when really she just has her own reasons, her own life, her own way of doing things, her own family, her own stresses, her own situation, and it's not about me. And if I have a particular thing that is a problem with my partner, I tend to do just what this said. I just assume they know, that they don't care, and then I let it stress me out and stress me out and stress me out. Instead of just saying, well, you know, this particular thing that's happening is really bothering me. And then my partner can say, well, I'm doing that because, or then they have a platform to talk about it, and probably turns out 99% of the time that it wasn't really about me. They didn't have a problem with me. It wasn't something that I did. It wasn't associated with me. And if it's something that bothers me, maybe if I understand it more, it won't bother me as much. And also, it could be something that wouldn't bother me as much if I talk to them about it. Now, this could be, you know, any kind of pet peeve, or it could be any kind of behavior, but the point is if they don't know, you torment yourself thinking they know, and you make it go into something that's more negative, because you have, excuse me, anyway, I'm just going to continue reading. I lost my train of thought there. Okay, second, it's not really fair to your partner. Here you are steaming mad about something, and you don't even give your partner the courtesy of telling her what it is that's bugging you. You're probably coming across mad or irritated, but she doesn't even know what that's about. See, and just like I was saying, it's like you get this like under your skin and you have this irritation, and so you're short with her, you're maybe negative, you feel like pouty and bratty, and you're saying things, and really you're just hurt and you're wounded and you're in fear yourself of something that's come up, it's pushed your buttons, and instead of talking about it, because maybe you don't really understand what you're feeling, you're just assuming that however they're behaving is some direct reflection on you, and it really bothers you, and so you're unable to communicate about it. Anyway, okay, it says, in cases like these, you're demanding that she read your mind. What chance does she have? How can she explain herself, much less do anything about it? The first thing that bothered me about Chris was her tendency to keep me waiting. After a while, I started fuming about it. I told my good friends, I sulked, complained, and wished she would change. Finally, when I couldn't stand it any longer, I brought it up to her. In a very sincere, non-defensive tone, she said, I'm really sorry. I didn't even realize I was doing it. I wished you would have talked to me sooner. Folks, you really need to tell your partner what is on your mind. Okay? They could say, screw you, that's ridiculous, and you're completely out of line. Or they might just be like, oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. I don't need to do that. Or you can find a compromise in the middle. But if both of you just sit and let it fester inside of you, it becomes a health issue. It becomes something you resent them for, and it really wreaks havoc on your relationship. It continues to say, it turns out that while I was obsessively punctual, she was quite comfortable running a few minutes behind schedule. She simply didn't think it was a big deal and had no idea it was bothering me. So, while we keep people waiting may not be a great idea, clearly the responsibility of dealing with the issue was in my hands. I was expecting Chris to read my mind, and while she has many magical qualities, reading my mind is not one of them. What we've learned is that when something is bothering you, it is usually best to let your partner know about it. Pick a time when neither of you are in a defensive mood, which sometimes might be hard to do. Then bring up the issue gently and respectfully and see what happens. It seems logical that in most cases, your chances of favorable outcome are far better than if you rely on your partner reading your mind. If at all possible, avoid the self-destructive thought, he or she should know what I want or need. Because oftentimes we do that. If someone loves us, surely they know what we need, right? We shouldn't have to tell them, and if we have to tell them, they don't really love us. But really, what would it hurt to just tell them? Well, probably we also fear rejection if we tell them, or being made to feel stupid because our childhood stuff, we have a whole bunch of different stuff that comes up. And so, but you're in a loving adult relationship, and you should be able to tell that person how you feel, what you want or need, and if it doesn't seem right to them, then maybe you can meet in the middle or compromise, but at least get it out so it's not, festering. All right, and the last sentence here says, you'll make it easier on yourself and on your relationship if you go ahead and let them know. All right, folks, well, here's to happier relationships out there, and God bless you all.